Hey guys, what's up? Time for another fragrance review to keep my channel active, basically. I'm going to do another cologne coffee battle thing because I guess if you're like me, I'm always looking for a fragrance that smells like I'm walking into a Dunkin' Donuts, that great kind of coffee smell with donuts. That's basically one of the things I'm looking for when I started collecting fragrances, and I still haven't found it yet, but I'm still looking. So I'm going to do a few new coffee fragrances that I've smelled I guess in recent months. I'm gonna start off with the worst at first. So let's get the ones I did not like out of the way first. I'm gonna start off with Sensei from. You know what? I'm gonna write the name. I'm not gonna try to say the names because I'm sure I say them wrong. I will say the Sensei has a cool bottle though. You basically it comes with like an EDT version, the EDP, and an extract version. Now I should say I've only smelled the EDP version. That's the sample that I got, so I'm not commenting on anything else, okay? Anyway, the top notes are whiskey, coffee, and tobacco. The middle notes are incense, myrrh, and spicy notes. And the base notes are muskmallow, ladamum, amber, and musk. I mean, just from the notes, I think it sounds kind of interesting. But I'm going to tell you basically, honestly, I don't know if anyone else saw my review of what's it called? Espresso Royale. This reminds me of Espresso Royale, and I do not like that. First of all, I don't even think that that smells like coffee. Not only do I not think that that smells like coffee, I just think that fragrance doesn't smell good. Period. And honestly, this reminds me almost exactly like Espresso Royale, and I don't know if anyone remembers my review on that. Literally, like Espresso Royale just reminded me of ginger snap cookies. Like I don't like ginger snap cookies, and even when I asked someone, or no, someone told me that they thought it smelled like ginger snap cookies. And so anyway, to make this review short, seriously, when I smelled this, I was like, wow, this reminds me so much of like Espresso Royale. And I asked someone to smell it, and they're like, I can't think of what that smells like. It smells kind of weird. And I'm like, ginger snap cookies, and they're like, oh yeah, ginger snap cookies. And it's just like, fucking ginger snap cookies. So that's basically a review of this. It doesn't really remind me of coffee. I guess I can smell a little bit of coffee. I guess it's a little more interesting than Espresso Royale just because there's more stuff going on in it. You know what I mean? So it's a little more interesting to smell, like different like nuisances, like sweet things going on, etc. But you know what? I just don't think it smells very good. So I don't recommend it. I mean, I guess you know what? I know I'm in the minority. I know a lot of people do like that fragrance though, the Espresso Royale. So if you like that though, I do think this is worth checking out, but I don't think it smells like coffee or reminds me of coffee. So yeah, that's the end of that review for that one. The next one is well, I'm gonna say that wrong. It's the geez, Teatro Olfactivo de Parma, Bel Antonio Hilde Solani. Probably didn't say that right, but anyway. Anyway, this one only has two notes, just tobacco and coffee, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because I know if anyone has smelled that Dolce and Fundo from that Parfum Roma or whatever, that only has citrus and vanilla, and I think that smells really good. And so, you know, just coffee and tobacco, I like those notes. This one, I didn't really like this one either, but this one was at least like kind of interesting to me. Like, and I know this one has had like a number of kind of like varying reviews of what people have thought, and my review was in the negative thought of what people said because some people think this smells like kind of dusty and musty, and excuse me, I agree, it smells a little weird. From the cap or whatever. Excuse me, sorry, I was in the hospital today. I'm a little sick. Lost my train of thought. So yeah, from the cap though, I actually thought I got like a wrong sample of it or something because it was very like sweet from the cap, and I was like, oh geez, this doesn't smell like what I thought the review said it smelled like. And but instantly, right when I put it on my skin, it became very dusty and like kind of old smelling and kind of dusty and musty. And it wasn't like dusty, musty, old smelly in a gross way. Like say for Pond's like 1697, I think it is. Like, you know what I mean? That can just smell straight up funky, dude. Like, that can smell kind of gross. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of musty old that one is can be at sometimes. This is just old, like an attic, or you know what I mean? Like you smell like the dust in a vacuum cleaner. Or I'm sure everyone has that kind of friend that has like a dirty old car that, you know, they just don't clean. enough, and maybe there's some like cigarette butts around. It's like an old car, you know what I mean? Maybe they have like an air freshener up to like add some sweetness. It's like that kind of old smell. It's not gross. It just smells like old, I guess, if that like makes sense. So basically, you have this like old kind of attic, weird kind of dusty smell, and it's covering up most of the fragrance. And I will say I don't get a lot of coffee in this at all. I do get the tobacco, and I get like a honey sort of tobacco in this, but again, it's just covered by like this kind of like dusty, musty kind of like smell. I mean, I guess that's interesting, but it's kind of like it feels like extremely novelty-ish. Do you know what I mean? It's like kind of like what I feel like the only people that would really enjoy this, like either you have the person that collects cologne, which I do on a small level, at least as much as I can, you know what I mean, with my pauper income, basically, you know what I mean? Or you have the person that it like evokes like, you know, a specific memory, you know what I mean? So basically for a rich person or someone that like collects cologne, you know what I mean? Because it just feels like so novelty, like why would you want this? Like it just smells, it smells kind of weird. Like I would imagine it's like they you know, I don't know what perfumers do, you know. I don't know anything about that, right? But I mean, if I'm gonna guess, it's just kind of like, you know, maybe the person this sounds bad, okay, I'm joking, right? But let's imagine like the person they were making perfumes or something, and the guy or the girl, whoever makes this, they were just like, you know, I don't know, they wanted to make some tobacco so at one point and just they just gave up on it and they put it in their attic and then they came back, you know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, I left this thing here. I never finished it. And you know, all that dustiness from the attic and like, you know, the vacuum cleaner smell is just is like it's like stained the scent. And that's basically what you have. You have like a stained, dusty old honey tobacco scent. That's what I got out of this. Not a lot of coffee at all, very little. Doesn't remind me of coffee. So boom. This one is done with too. Now the next one, okay. The next one was much better. And this one I will actually say I'm gonna do Barista Legendary, and let me just get through the notes real quick. The top notes are coffee blossom, cappuccino, coffee, roasted coffee at the middle, cedar, sandalwood, and the base notes are mahogany, cardamom, and dark chocolate. I'm just gonna say this one was like pleasantly surprised. This one was I would actually say that this is the fragrance so far that I've smelled the most that actually makes me think of coffee, okay? Number one now in terms of like, wow, just smelling this, like I instantly, I'm thinking of coffee. Now, it doesn't necessarily make me think of walking into a Dunkin' Donuts, which of course is what I want because I want that sweet kind of, excuse me, sorry again. I want that Dunkin' Donuts and coffee smell, that awesome mix. That's what I want, right? Dunkin' Donuts, please make a scent already. Or at least like a Starbucks, something like that. But just in terms of reminding me of coffee, this is now number one. At first blast, this thing was really thick, a really thick and spicy sort of smell, but it wasn't offensive because the coffee is so authentic. It's not like a misplaced sort of spicy kick to it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like a just like black pepper for no reason with, you know, I don't know, whatever it might be that might kind of like tingle your nose. It's like this smells like coffee. Like it's going to be spicy. Like it's not going to be like it shouldn't tingle your nose because it's not like there for no reason. It's like the authentic kind of coffee smell, I would say. So not a misplaced, potentially offensive kind of thing. I mean, the only thing that would be potentially offensive that might make this hard to wear is just that it is so novelty because of how it smells like coffee. But after that first blast though, it does dry down and it becomes pretty close to the skin for me most of the scent after that initial kick. And you just get a lot of coffee with some like kind of chocolate in the background, very soft floral. And you know, like some sweet woods at the very dry down. But you know, coffee is a major player throughout this whole thing. I would almost describe it as like the opposite of by Killian's Intoxicated, which you know, I think that's another fragrance that actually does remind me of coffee. But I think this reminds me of coffee more, right? Like by Killian's, like to say like I said, I think these are almost kind of the opposite. Like by Killian's Intoxicated is almost like a very dark, thick, intense, like hot chocolate with some spices, with like a little bit of spicy coffee and like nutmeg in the background. But it's like very hot, thick, spicy, hot chocolate, little bit of coffee in the background. This is basically all coffee little bit of the little bit of the sweet chocolate in the background, right? And like I said, you get a little bit of some sweet woods at the bottom, and you have a little bit of a soft floral, but it's not super fruity. Like I saw some people say that they thought it was like it did kind of remind them of a cafe shop, or I think on Fragnatic at one point they had it. It was related to New Harlem, but New Harlem is basically breakfast in a bottle, right? Like maple syrup, French toast, pancakes. It's almost everything besides coffee. There's very little coffee in that for me at least. It's like they forgot the main thing almost in that one, but not that I don't think that smells good because I do like New Harlem. I think it smells good. But this one is like, it's not super foody, I don't think. There's a little bit of chocolate in it. I mean, but when in terms of something, like New Harlem, like, French toast and pancakes, maple syrup, this has maybe like one pancake or two in the background. It's like not very foody whatsoever. It's like mostly like a coffee scent, you know what I mean? So very heavy like coffee smell, little bit of chocolate, maybe a pancake in the background. But basically, you know, I think, if you want a coffee scent, it does. Some people say it reminds them of walking into like a cafe. Maybe a little bit, like again, but it's the cafe where they haven't started baking the goods for you to eat yet. You know what I mean? So, in terms of smelling like the most authentic kind of coffee scent I've ever smelled, this is now number one. Is it the best smelling, just like fragrance coffee, majority wise though? Like I don't know about that. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what smells better. Like because this is almost novelty-ish, and intoxicated does kind of have another dimension. Being I don't really like the word sexy, but we'll say almost like a sexiness to it because it's just so thick and chocolatey, and it's got like a different dimension to it. You know what I mean? But still, Barista is still really nice. I mean, I don't know about full bottle worthy, but I think if you like coffee, I think it's worth checking out for sure. Again, best smelling coffee fragrance, I don't know about that, but in terms of something that will make you think of coffee, I think this is now number one. Anyway, so that's my kind of impressions of those reviews. I'm still waiting. Dunkin' Donuts, please make a coffee fragrance. Donuts with coffee, donuts, coffee, blah blah blah. Please mix it together, something. Okay, that was me keeping my channel active. I'll try to do some more fragrance reviews another time. I know people want video game stuff and more vlog stuff, or some people want vlog stuff, I guess, right? So, anyway, thanks for watching. The end.